What's going on, everybody? I am Ebenezer, and welcome to my hidden channel. Second video I'm uploading to this hidden channel. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about house arrest, community corrections, and mental health issues, because there's a strong connection. I have been on house arrest for 3 years almost. I started house arrest in January 2018. I'll be off house arrest January 14th, 2021, Lord willing. Let me tell you the story about how I got on house arrest, y'all, believe it or not. I live in Indiana. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Indiana, just like any other state, I guess, it was a racist state, man. It's a racist state. And so how I got on house arrest was, I was at my house, and some people had parked their truck in my yard, and so I left a note on their truck. I didn't know whose truck it was. Now I'm living in a shared living thing, but it was not shared living, but it was a house divided into like 4 different apartments. So I rented the apartment that was you got your own apartments, but it was a big building divided in like 4 or 5 different apartments. So I had the bigger apartment. I paid the most rent. I had the bigger apartment. The reason why I had paid the most rent is because my apartment was bigger, and because I had my own porch, the only person who had his own porch. And to that porch, I had a small yard, my own yard. And so, that's just how the place was set up. Everybody else my door goes right to the yard. Like, that was my yard. And then everybody else, they were like, I don't know, you'd have to see how the building was shaped. They were, their entrance and exit was on the sidewalk. And so everybody knew that, I had never had any problem with anybody that was living there in my building. Everyone knew that. It was clear as day, So, of course, I didn't have a problem with anybody in my building. So what happened was, somebody that I guess lived on the street had parked their truck in my yard. I didn't know whose truck it was. Obviously, they lived 3 houses down. That's what I ended up finding out. So I put a note on their truck, a very nice, polite note, man, nothing rude, just asking them to move their truck out of my yard, because I needed to get my truck worked on, actually. I had something to go somewhere to be that day. I needed to get my truck worked on. I had a mechanic coming through. So I put a note on their truck and asked them to politely move their truck out of my yard. The lady, there was a man and a lady. The lady saw me walking away from her truck, and she saw me put the note on there, and immediately got pissed off and is there a fucking problem? Started talking crazy. It was this white lady. And then, so, of course, she brought her boyfriend and husband into it, and then they both came at me, man, talking crazy. I mean, I got called 100 niggers, got my life threatened, all type of shit. So, of course, I lost my temper, and so I started, I didn't even put my hands on them, but I started kicking their truck. I should have put my hands on them for how much time I got, man. That's what I should have just did. I should have just beat their ass. That's just what I should have did. I would have got a less charge if I had to beat their ass, man. That's what's crazy. I would have got a lesser charge if I had to just put my hands on them. It's bullshit. But anyway, let me keep the story going. So I started kicking their truck, man, because they just got disrespectful, man. So I started kicking their truck or whatever. And then, so dude ends up pulling out a rifle or whatever. He, shoots the rifle in the air or whatever. I wasn't threatened at all, because I knew he wasn't about to shoot me with it. He was just, trying to threaten me, I guess, or trying to scare me with the rifle. Shot it in the air, said some crazy shit. Came back outside without his rifle. And I showed the gun I had, too. He never fired it off or anything. I said, all right, motherfucker, I got a gun, too. I mean, that don't mean nothing. I went back and put my gun in the house. Big mistake, man. Never show a gun if you ain't gonna use it. But, I wasn't threatening that situation. It wasn't a situation where I was threatening my life. I was just showing them, like, motherfucker, it's a gun. Like, who cares about your gun? Well, I'm a felon. I'm not supposed to have a gun. So they called the police. I had no idea they called the police. I thought they were supposed to be calling a family member. When you get into it with certain people, bro, you got to be careful who you get into it with. Just don't get into it with people. Just try to take a high road. Something I learned. But anyways, so either way, I told the police pull up. They treated me like a criminal, automatically put me in cuffs. They didn't find a gun or anything on me. I'm telling them, like, hey, man, these people shot at me and everything. Why, if you're going to put me in cuffs, put them in cuffs. Of course, they didn't put them in cuffs. Nothing happened to these people. They arrested me. They didn't find a gun on me, so they arrested me. And 2 days later, they searched my house, and then they found the weapon. And then I got charged with a gun, and then got sentenced to 3 years house arrest. Nothing happened to the people I got into it with, though. I was the only one punished in this situation, which is no justice at all. So now I've been on house arrest for almost 3 years. And it's been the most stressful experience of my life, yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. House arrest is not easy to do, especially if you're somebody like me. If you're a homebody, house arrest is a lot easier to do. I'm not a homebody. I'm more of a worker and a go-getter. I'm out here every day, 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day. Before house arrest, I was out here working and getting money. House arrest stopped all of that. You can only be out the house 16 hours a day if you're working, no more than 16 hours a day. And then there's so many restrictions on working. Like, I can't just be out here hustling out of my pickup truck or anything. You're restricted. So I can't make moves. That's one of the things that makes it so stressful. You can't just go out here, even if you're trying to do something right and you're not trying to do nothing crazy. Like, you can't just go out here and make money and make moves and live your life, man. On house arrest, it's a punishment, man. It's mentally, like, house arrest is hard, man. So mentally, that gets to me. And then what's hard about house arrest for me, man, if you don't have a good people around you, bro, house arrest is horrible. Like, if you trying to do something with yourself, you don't have a good support team around you, house arrest is very stressful. And if you're a loner and you don't have friends, house arrest is very stressful. I don't really have good friends around me. I got people that are friends, sort of, in a way, but they're not good friends. Like, my friends are, you know, they'll try to, I got a homeboy of mine that's been trying to get me to snort cocaine. And actually on house arrest one time, I was so down and stressed out that he actually was able to convince me to do it. One time, it was like a small little line. I don't snort cocaine. So, you know, but the thing is, I didn't know, I could have ended up getting addicted to that shit or something. So that's a shitty friend I got around me. You need the right people around you, man. Everybody else wanted me to stay high. Didn't nobody want me to stop smoking weed, and everybody wanted me to keep drinking. So all everybody wanted to do was just hang out, man. So, you know, that's all everyone always wants to do anyway, is just hang out, smoke weed, and get drunk and get high. Like, that's people's idea of hanging out. Nobody wants to make moves, which is a stressful thing for house arrest for me, because I am a go-getter, and being surrounded by people that are just lazy and not really in a rush to make any moves in life, or not really hard workers, or just not really taking things serious as far as a career or anything. You don't have to take that thing serious, but I don't want to be around those type of people, because they slow you down and they put these, you're not motivated being around these people. There's no motivation, and they step on your toes, man, and they really just want their crabs in a bucket. What else made house arrest stressful for me, besides, you know, my freedom being taken away from me and me not having good people around, was the fact that the relationships that I was in. I didn't ever really do relationships before house arrest, but I guess on house arrest, you know, I was in a vulnerable position. I got myself into 2 different relationships within these, almost the 2.5, 3 years I've been on here. I've been in 2 relationships. First relationship was horrible, you know what I mean? I got cheated on and shit. Was a little depressed for a little bit, man, because the girl did me dirty, not just cheated on me, but she did me dirty in a few ways. Cheated on me, cut my water off, like cut the bills off when I had been paying on the bills, and like keeping the cable on for her kids and all that shit. Like, she didn't even tell me she was leaving me or had started seeing somebody else. So she kind of did me dirty. So I was kept paying the cable bill for her. I had just paid the cable bill for her kids when she left, knowing she was leaving. She still was having me pay the cable bill. Just, you know what I mean, just being evil. This is a woman for you. Or just people for you. I ain't gonna say it's a woman for you. But, sort of is, yeah. Women are very spiteful. But, you know, so, yeah, so, you know, I was in when I broke up with her, or when she left me, when she broke up with me and left me and cheated on me, I was in a financial situation and in a very mental bad space mentally. My water got shut off because she shut it off. It was in her name. I had to get that on. God blessed me, though. I did end up getting blessed with a sous chef position, making $50,000 a year. Right at that same time that all that happened, I got blessed with that position. And the position, even though it was a blessing, I was still so stressed out going to work, having to hide it. It was very stressful, man. It was very hard. Then after that relationship ended, about a year later, I entered another relationship with a girl that was very young. And she was the exact opposite of the other girl, I guess, really, when you think about it. And that was a horrible relationship, too, because she was young, and she was probably going through her own little things, because this young generation is so, they're so mentally scarred, too. Just all the stuff that it's a messed up world, man. It's a bad time to be, it's just a bad time. It's always been a messed up world, though, but You know, she was young and mature, just wasn't really worried about me. House arrest, man, you really need people around you that support you and that care about you, man, because it's mentally it's just a hard thing to deal with. And you need somebody that has your back, man. It was hard for me because I didn't really have anybody that had my back. I had my homeboy trying to get me to snort cocaine, homeboys and my homegirls trying to get me to smoke weed and drink. The girls that I dated didn't want me to stop smoking weed. They didn't want me to stop drinking. I just had shitty people around me, family members using me and just doing me dirty and just, you know what I mean? I don't have a good support system around me at all. I have no good people around me. And that's what makes house arrest hard for me, man. It's very stressful, very hard. Mental health and house arrest, bro, like, there's something that they got to do about this because, I mean, I know it's just a business for them, but something has to be done because hey, they have to, you know, I understand house arrest is a punishment. It's all right, you're restricted, but restrict people, restrict them in a certain type of way. If I need to go out here and scrap metal, I got GPS on my thing. Y'all know where I'm at, man. You know where I'm at. If I'm out here scrapping metal, you know where I'm at. Now, if you see I'm hanging out at some house, then point that out. Okay, now what are you doing at this address? You're supposed to be scrapping metal. You shouldn't really be stopping at one address. The only place you should be stopping at is home or the place you're going to drop your metal off at. You ain't supposed to be stopping at just random houses. You shouldn't even be stopping at a house while scrapping metal. Y'all should be able to see that. So there shouldn't be any restrictions on working and taking care of your household, man. Like, yeah, I mean, if I want to work 18 hours a day, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. And on house arrest, you can't do that. There's too many restrictions, man. So I understand it's a punishment, but what type of punishment is this really? I mean, at the end of the day, we all know it has nothing to do with the punishment. It has something to do with the business of making money off of criminals and inmates and convicted felons. And house arrest is it's been very hard for me, y'all. It's the hardest 3 years I've been through. It's harder than even when I was in jail, which I never want to go through any of this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just been very stressful, very hard. It's almost over, man. I can't wait for it to be over. I'm gonna have a big burden lifted off my shoulder. My blood pressure has been high. I've been also like being stuck in a house with coronavirus and house arrest. My vitamin D has shot down. I'm vitamin D deficient now. I don't know if that's from lack of sun or not being outside enough or whatever it is, man. And blood pressure and all type of shit, man. Like, house arrest is just, even mentally and mentally it's not good, and physically it's not good for you. House arrest or jail, it's just a fucked up thing to go through, man. So anybody that's out there going through house arrest, man, you can report to this video. We can keep doing videos on this house arrest shit because it is hard and it is stressful. If you need anybody positive to talk to on house arrest about positive things and motivation, and you just trying to get through your little bit on house arrest, man, I am here on the Hidden Channel. Ebenezer, and I'm signing off.